everybody, and welcome to Discussions on Ahsoka. I didn't get any music for this season. Hello, everybody. My name is Jay, and with me to talk about Star Wars are my dear friends Matt and Ralph. Gentlemen, how you doing? How's it going?
It's been a while. We were talking. It's been a while
minute.
since there's been Star Wars, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it isn't the dark times.
It's been this year. It's been this year, right?
Mandalorian was like a couple months ago.
How many months ago? I don't remember.
So many moons ago. It
Not
feels
too long ago.
How did that season end?
I don't remember. Wait,
boring.
he was in a house. He had his spread, and there's baby Grogu playing in the yard. That's how it ended, right?
Oh yeah.
Right.
And it had the little closed down Looney Tunes, like
Yeah.
that's all.
That's all.
Was that like Destiny?
So
But was it also that?
I don't know. Anyway, so we are with Ahsoka, 3 episodes in.
Wait,
And,
there was homework that one of us needed to do. Ralph,
was there?
did you?
No, I didn't. I did whatever it was. I didn't do it. Whatever it was.
We were so passionate about him watching Visions.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that was a thing.
Because it was on the precipice of Visions 2.
Yes,
coming
that's
out like
right.
in a month or maybe.
Visions 2 was really good. The fam and I watched it.
I didn't know Visions 2 was out. Oh wait, no, that's the one with Aardman. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't watch that. I didn't watch it.
Really good. Really
Yeah.
good.
Okay, but we're here to talk about Ahsoka.
We are here to talk about Ahsoka. The thing we're really excited about, and to be honest, I have enjoyed the first 3. I'm just gonna come out there and say it.
Months ago.
I also do understand some people's complaints, but for me personally, I've had a really good time so far. Matt, how are you feeling? What's your pulse check?
All right, so me and the boys, we did an Owen Bruise.
You did, yep. And
We
generally more saltier than you.
We tend to be, yeah. But
They
I came
are
out
salty.
I kind of came out swinging because I felt let down like so many fanboys did about Hera. You know, I had certain things about Hera that I just, she was the character that I felt was the most round peg in a square hole.
Was it your problem with the race of the actor who was cast, or is that somebody else?
No, I don't have any problem with the race of the actors or actors.
I think someone on that show had an issue with that.
So you're not feeling it. You're not feeling it right now, Matt?
Okay, that complaint aside, I have enjoyed this show.
Okay.
And I really liked this last episode that we got. How they did us dirty on the first episode at the end, I was just kind of like, what? So we're just gonna, I mean, at least they have healthcare in their universe.
But not for Qui-Gon. The Jedi healthcare was crap for Qui-Gon.
That happened on a different planet. And I mean, how do you think Naboo affords all of those like really fancy high art? They had to do away with something, and it was clearly their healthcare.
All right, so you're okay. This is just cursory thoughts. We'll get into your details.
I came out, like
swinging.
Whoa, hey, that's not my Hera. I didn't vote for that Hera. And then all of a sudden, I was kind of like, but I do like the story. I like the plot, and I for everything that I missed about Hera, I felt like I loved even more about Sabine.
Okay.
So
nice.
Okay. That's the cursory preface.
I love it. Ralph, where are you at? How are you feeling?
Well, I mean, when we talked about Andor, I thought it was a really good storytelling, but like deadly serious and super focused on the storytelling. When I watch Mandalorian, I think the storytelling's not good, but the action is fun. The action is fun.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I said it on here. I'm pretty sure I did. Is that I want something in the middle, something that has the focus of storytelling, but also the fun action. And I honestly feel like this show is it. This show's really hitting that sweet spot.
I agree.
As far as Hera goes, my only issue with Hera is I'm so used to Mary Elizabeth Winstead in other things.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to get around that.
Okay.
Because with Sabine, I'm not familiar with the actress and I love her.
Yeah.
Rosario Dawson's been in a few Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian seasons, and so I'm already used to that. So Hera's the big sort of question mark, and I think as of episode 3, I'm totally on board. I think episode 3 is my favorite of the 3.
Ooh, okay.
Because I felt like the first 2 were mostly set up for people who didn't watch Rebels.
Yes.
Yeah. That's true.
And episode 3 was a shorter episode.
Yeah.
The pacing was quicker, and it felt just like a Rebels episode.
Yeah.
A Rebels or a Clone Wars episode. Either one. It was striking that vein.
Down to the space
You're
saber
striking your vein.
It's the main line.
I will agree, even in this episode, Mon Mothma was like, wait, Thrawn, you mean Grand Admiral Thrawn? I was like, what other Thrawn is there, Mon Mothma? Come on.
Might be others.
Let's say hello to the chat. Excited to be here talking with everybody about this. We got Overman here, Christopher, Dora Laxian, Charlie Weaver's in the house. Kenton is here. Brian Carr is here. Toiki Kasaurus, Andy Silva in the house. Matt Bush is here. Did I do Jace? I'll do Jace again. A lot of really thought out thoughts, so I don't mean to be just blowing through these. I just want to make sure I say hello to everybody. Kenton Studio Henge is here. J-Rod is here. Let me see anybody else. Colleen is here. Joey Curell in the house. Did I do Andy Silva? I'll do him again. Riley Bob is here. I think I did. You get an F on your assignment there, Ralph. Mint with card in the house. Mechanize. So much action already. So cool. Let's see. Chad Stewart is here. M0 Ready, the turbo lasers. And Everyday Inventors, don't know who that is. Kind of seems like a jerk, but did you mean Scruffy McGee Thrawn?
It's like there's another Thrawn. That's where my mind's at.
Okay, we'll talk about Hera. We'll talk about all the characters. I feel like within my Star Wars nerd friends, I feel like I have heard complaints about Sabine. Ahsoka, Hera, like everybody but Chopper, I have heard complaints about.
Chopper's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, Chopper. No notes.
The one male character on the show, Chopper.
He's not a male character. He's unisexual. He has. Yeah,
it's non-gender. Why are you trying to gender Chopper?
Yeah.
Jeez, wow.
They call him he.
That's fair.
Well, as you would call
it, it is kind of cool though, right? Like,
Chopper's the best. Oh, Scott, I'm sorry I missed you, Scott. That's my bad. I apologize.
His scene was, definitely a standout moment, from
absolutely
the second episode, I would say. So.
And I'll say Hu Yang
Yeah, Hu Yang
is amazing. I love him. Shit,
so
maybe I'm just sexist. No, I'm just kidding. No, I love all the characters so far. FYI. But I'm hearing complaints with I don't like Sabine, or I don't like Dawson's performance of Ahsoka, or I don't like Hera. The only one that has felt like in this episode, especially the first watch, I was like, is Rosario Dawson going to show a little bit more emotion here? Is she going to have a little bit more Ahsoka-ness to her? And that's the only, but even then I'm not upset. Even on the second viewing, it didn't seem as reserved the first viewing of episode 3. But that's the only one I'm feeling a little bit of. Even though I understand the thoughts, well, she's older now, she's more at peace with the Force, yada, yada, yada. I get that. But I just think even in Rebels, she had a little bit more, kind of FU-ness about her that I liked, and I'm just not seeing it yet. I'm seeing more reserved, but there's plenty of time. I'm not going to get upset. That's the only character choice or performance right now I'm just not feeling 100%. What's your all's thoughts on the Ahsoka this season performance?
I feel like episode 3 hit pretty close to where she left off in Rebels. I feel like some times have passed. We haven't seen her, through the entire original series or the original trilogy. And now she's sort of taking on this master role again.
Yeah.
So she's probably more reserved. She probably has to be kind of more focused.
Yeah.
As a master.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, like if you watch like the Clone Wars movie with her first appearance, and she's a teenager, and she's spunky and she's definitely grown over the years. And I think that where we left on Rebels, this is a good spot for her to sort of continue her journey.
Yeah.
She's been through a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, her former master helped create the Empire, and has recently
kill all the Jedi,
but recently got destroyed by Luke Skywalker and the Emperor. So she's in that headspace now.
Yeah.
And I mean, who knows if Anakin's reached out to her yet through the Force. And maybe, I don't know, she just feels like she wants to lead the way that he didn't. Yeah. So I mean, there's some sort of fun stuff in these, and there'd be room for fun stuff. But I think as of right now, where she is as a character, I think she's just more serious because of the stakes, and the threat of Thrawn weighs heavy on her, and finding Ezra too. So
I think the tone of the first two, we're supposed to get this tension duality between Ahsoka and Sabine, and I think that's a hard, I don't know, story to craft in a pilot episode for a show where you're also introducing basically the new face of this franchise, essentially. You're like, hey, we're going to introduce you to this person as well as creating this dynamic there. Yeah. And so there were scenes where I was just like, well, you're coming off a lot more arrogant or kind of almost off-puttish with me in a way. It's like, oh, that's not the more light-sided part of it. But I'm here for Ahsoka. I'm here for all she has to do. I think the moments in which she's having like casual conversations, like even that scene where her and General Syndulla are trying to kind of, they're doing the like, hey, let's get to the bottom of this Empire stuff. Like those were moments, or even in this episode with her and Sabine, I felt like, okay, now the team's starting to feel like it's back together. It almost felt like disjointed in many ways in that first episode. Even that first episode where she was talking to Hera, it was just kind of like, it felt to me, like, and of course, like there are some, I was reading some of the chat, like for some of you, this might be your first introduction to these characters. So you're not coming in with any of this baggage, and it's a hard needle to pass. And, being such a fan of Rebels and that show, I'm willing to kind of bend a lot, just be like, oh, okay. Like if this is what it takes to get another Filoni show that is elevating this craft. And I do feel like he can weave in a lot of these elements. And I think that even a lot of the Star Wars fanboys are willing to accept that.
I was just talking to a mutual friend of ours, Joe Garfien, today, and she's been watching Ahsoka, hasn't seen a single Clone Wars, seen a single Rebels, and she says she's been loving it. Yeah. So it's one of those things, like they have to make this show work for people like Joe, and then also for people like us. And for us, I feel like the first two episodes is a lot of redundancies for us, so it might feel like a little bit of a slower.
Can't you just name drop Kanan once?
Like, well, I think their kids there. He wants to be a Jedi. Come on.
I know that.
I mean, he feels the Force. That's the thing. That's the thing. It took him 3 episodes to mention Jason, who's alive and well. Kanan's been dead throughout the original trilogy, which is like 5 9 years since then. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, he's got to be like, how old is
9
Jason?
or something, right? 9 or 10.
9?
Yeah.
Like he looked kind of 9-ish, and there's 40 years of the OG original or OT original trilogy. So I guess if we're saying this is 5 years after, and in the Mandalorian verse, I guess we're at 9 years, somewhere in there.
That's what I think.
He'll be brought up.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just wish that there was this moment where Ahsoka was talking to Sabine about her training, You're not even going to mention that Kanan trained you with the Darksaber? Like, we spent some time on that.
Listen,
but the problem is like
you tell the Darksaber, you mention the Darksaber to people who only watch the Disney Plus series and not the animated ones. Are going to be like, wait, now I don't know why are they talking about the Darksaber?
I just wish that she would have just name dropped Kanan.
Yeah.
Just one little.
Why?
Just
why?
You know,
you already know Kanan. It doesn't matter to people who don't.
Set the breadcrumb, even for those people that don't know. They might be like,
I don't think it's necessary.
I agree, because even if you don't know, and came to be as their first exposure to the characters, and they don't have any complaints, so that's great. And I think that's a really good thing. But I do think you want to start, even though you don't need to bring in Kanan. I think the Jason not knowing his father, and him feeling the force sensitivity. Like that is, I mean, hell, it's already worked in Star Wars, where you have essentially an orphan child that doesn't know the father or mother for Luke, but still there is a path there, and maybe it's exciting to think about.
And maybe they're just playing it out because they know us fans out here. Once they do, it's gonna be like, what is it?
Yeah, it's why they haven't showed the ghost yet. They're waiting to show the ghost for when she goes against the New Republic and shows up with Blue Squadron and Zeb to help save the day. So here's the thing. This is my problem.
Good.
This is what my problem has been the whole time with Mandalorian. The story a lot of times feels aimless.
Sure.
And I've said it before. You now have the opportunity to actually serialize Star Wars the way Flash Gordon was serialized.
Sure.
Why aren't you coming up with an 8-episode arc and then telling the story within the 8 episodes? And I feel like that's exactly what's going on here. Yes. They don't want to talk about Kanan just yet. Yeah. They will definitely get the Kanan before this is over. He'll be name dropped. They waited 3 episodes to bring up Jason.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like, they can't just throw it all in the first episode and expect like these new people to just be like, okay, I accept this.
That's fair.
We as fans, we know everything we need to know. We don't need to continually just get like, I already know that. I know King. I know this. I know, Chopper, and I know that Ezra and Thrawn hyperspace with Purgo. I know all this stuff.
Sure.
So they've been nicely sprinkling that stuff throughout these 3 episodes to keep people up to date, but also letting us know, like, because after 2 episodes, I'm like, well, where the hell's Jason?
Yeah.
And I got that answer yesterday.
Yeah.
And so it's like, this is, for me, I'm so happy that this feels like a focused story that they've set up in 8 parts and are following this story and revealing it the way they want to. It's not just Mandalorian, like, oh, this would be cool. Oh, this would be cool. What if this happened? Oh, what if this person shows up? Like even though this is like the most Filoni characters in a show, we aren't getting those crazy cameos. We aren't getting the Cad Banes and who always shows up. Hondo always shows up in the Clone Wars.
I kind of want Hondo to show up though.
Yes, but but it doesn't need to be all forced into the first.
You're right. That's fair. Episode. But I think just real quick, and I'll go to you, Matt. I'll go to you, Matt, for your thoughts.
It's going to happen.
I do know it's going to happen. I think what we're worried about is sequel trilogy. We never got the OG crew in the Falcon going to save the day. And so
you don't think Dave Filoni knows
I know.
I trust Filoni more than I trust.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to happen. But I think there's just that little concern. It's like, are we finally going to get the crew back together the last 5 minutes in episode 8? I think that's just the little bit of worry. That's all.
But can I say, even if we do?
Sure.
We know that Dave Filoni's doing Heir to the Empire movie based on these characters. So, I mean, if this ends and we see just like every member of the Ghost crew in that cockpit of the Ghost with Ahsoka where Kanan would usually sit.
And Rex.
I mean, I'm going to be like, this is amazing. Rex, that's the thing. There's so many characters to bring in, but I'm good. I'm good with them just focusing on these characters so that people understand, like, this relationship between Sabine and Ahsoka is very, very special. We want to focus on 2 characters instead of a billion. But my favorite thing, one of my favorite things in this episode was Sabine jumps back in the gunner seat and says, you changed my presets.
Yeah.
Which is such a great line. It's so like, there's a history there. They used to do this. This is something that they're good at.
Yeah.
She sits in the seat and you're like, you can feel them reconnecting at that point.
Yeah.
In the training, they're very combative. They're always combative during the training. But when it comes to crunch time and they're in a battle, Sabine has her place where she knows she's comfortable and Ahsoka knows where they're comfortable. Yeah. And I love the communication through the headsets where they have like a shorthand. And it's like, okay, you could see that some point in the time we've missed during the original trilogy that these 2 were training together, like you're catching a glimpse of how it did work. And I like it. It's building up. I was afraid that as soon as she was training with the swords, she's going to be good by the end. And then,
I love how Hu Yang is like, you're terrible. You would never be chosen to be a Jedi. I love that so much. Real quick, I gotta mention this. Hasbro wants that Ghost shown pronto before the HasLab. Are they going to show Ghost before HasLab? So I want to bring it up. I know we're talking toys now, just for a second.
No, I'm here for this part.
When does the HasLab end? What day?
It's got. Is it 10 days? I thought it was less than 10 days. Hold on, let me double check. So 7 days.
To show up next week.
So it's got. So
I mean, if the ghost shows up on the next episode, that's going to be your big final push. Otherwise, oh my god.
So let's look at the charts real quick. So Brian Brink, let me refresh just to make sure it's good to go. Brian Brink added a project.
Brian to put in Getting Lost.
Oh, you did?
I said no, I was joking.
Oh, fair. But he added in projections for the Ghost, and we haven't unlocked Kanan and we haven't unlocked Zeb. Matt, how familiar are you with this Ghost HasLab? Are you up to speed on everything?
Okay, I'm not up to speed, but I have backed this.
Oh, okay.
And I have one order, and I saw a Geek Dad Life post about it.
Yeah.
From San Diego Comic-Con. Yep. And I was like, where do I sign up for this? I want this. And
look at the card back.
I thought to myself, should I not? And I just said, I'm doing it. I'm just going to go ahead and order this thing. And so I put my money down and was like, whenever you take it, do you take it? So,
just to get you caught up on the status of things, Ezra Bridger's been unlocked at 11,000 backers. Cool. Kanan is next.
Oh, come on, people!
At 14,000. Okay.
Didn't even realize.
We've never gotten a Kanan before. We've never gotten in TVC. We've never gotten Ezra before, right? And then at 17,000 is Zeb. And then if they also hit 17,000, they will release with the mural card backs Chopper and Sabine to buy as well. But as you can see by these charts, it's not quite at Kanan yet. We're at 11,886. But this projection, which is the gray line, is where Brian Brink, based on previous HasLabs, think this thing ends, because usually a lot of last minute purchases plus toy store purchases, stuff like that.
Next week's episode better have the Ghost in it.
That's what I'm saying. So the whole time we were like, oh, well, Ahsoka's coming in. It's going to show the Ghost, and that's going to, juice up these numbers. But they haven't had the Ghost show up. So people that don't watch Rebels and have no connection to this ship still haven't gotten any connection to the ship because it hasn't shown up in live action yet.
Disney's HasLab or Star Wars HasLabs.
I backed this before it was officially backed. It wasn't, but so I was in that first wave of back. But,
I was 64 I was number 64 so I was getting the information from the con.
Yeah, I still haven't told the wife about it yet.
Tell her it's an espresso machine.
Truth time. She was like, It's funny because it was funny because she said the other day, she was like, "Hey, I'm looking for something for your birthday," and I was like, "Already taken care of."
I'll have good news for you. You don't have to think about it anymore.
Well, so don't worry. It doesn't charge until September 6th, so you got time.
Oh, it's on the other card.
Oh, it's on the show up and have to explain card.
It's on the one that's just like, I just paid that off. It's groceries.
Just for me.
It's just
just for me. So anyway, what was funny is the last HasLab that was connected to Mandalorian. It was the Razor Crest, and after it backed, they blew it up. And so we were like, it's going to blow up the ghost. No, they're just not showing it. So Wheel Joker, you're 100% right. So we should see a ghost appearance in 2 weeks then. So it'll be after.
Right, there you go. It has to be after.
The same with the Rancor. The Rancor scene in Book of Boba Fett happened after that one shut down.
Who plans
They
these
need
things?
better coordination.
Yeah,
they just need better coordination.
Extend the deadline until we see it.
But even still, given the current state of things, it should unlock Zeb. They just won't sell as many as they maybe thought they were going to sell.
So how does that work? Like it unlocks it. Does that mean you can add that? Do you already get
So no,
that?
it just means if they sell so and so many, they'll add stuff to it. So you backed it, no matter what, you're getting it, and the Hera and the Ezra, right? Those have been unlocked.
Okay.
What's in the ether is if we also get Kanan and Zeb.
It's got to happen, people. Like, I'm here to tell you, I just learned about this today. I put my money up front where my mouth is. I love Rebels, and I've always wanted a large one. So it's
big. It's bigger than the Millennium Falcon. They showed side by side comparisons.
Nice.
It's a big
when it shows up, you're not going to be able to hide it.
I did.
No, yeah, it is. There's no.
I did have something I was going to say, and then I totally got into another mindset.
But I feel like if they have the seats in the cockpit like Sabine's seat, you're going to want a Sabine. Like,
yeah. So
yeah, I mean, when I backed it, it just had Hera, and I was like, oh, it just has Hera. Well, that's too bad. I was like, I guess I have some other action figures that I can fill in the blanks with. And now I'm more excited. So now's the time to get on this thing. I'm out there like, I need to do another podcast.
Yeah. You can pound the pavement.
I'm like, we gotta make this thing happen.
Let's talk. So I think we're okay on Ahsoka. Any final thoughts on Ahsoka, the character, before we go on to other characters that we've seen so far, Matt?
No.
Okay.
No.
Do you want to put us in this chat? Because maybe it'll bring us up some other characters here. Is Balin and Shin considered gray or dark Jedi? I was actually having this conversation with my son earlier. He was like, are they Sith? I was like, well, no, they're not Sith. They're dark
I think they're
Jedi.
just considered dark Jedi. And I saw this really funny Freddie Prinze TikTok where he's basically like just cussing up a storm, basically saying there is no gray Jedi. That's just blah blah blah. And he's just like so missive about this. And it was funny because he keeps citing Filoni and Lucas and what their vision was, and I really doubt if Freddie Prinze shows up as a Force ghost. I just don't. He's been adamant as far as saying like he doesn't want to do anything more with that character. That character is done. Yeah.
But is he just putting on a front to kind of hide?
Yeah.
Well, that is a big is it a foiler?
I think that's a foiler for sure.
As us Lost in fans know. So
yeah, I'm expecting to. Are you telling me that they build a full-size ghost cockpit with everybody from the ghost in there, and he's not curious about showing up to get in there? Are you kidding me? He's a huge Star Wars fan. Of course he's going to show up.
Yeah. And he did the voice of Kanan in that crappy Star Wars movie.
Apparently he didn't even want to do that. That's what I heard.
See, this is where, okay.
Yes.
Actors are kind of need to get out of their own butt sometimes. Just do stop.
You're
it.
Like show up
feigning.
I think he's acting.
Well,
he's
okay.
faking,
One
guys.
thing I wanted to mention though was Hu Yang when he shuts down, and the moment that he shuts down and what happens in episode 3. I really enjoyed that whole interaction, and when he comes back on and he he gives us an explanation that is huge for Star Wars, and the fact that he basically explains to the people in the back seats what they couldn't figure out in the first 2 episodes, that these Purrgil are creating these hyperspace lanes that go between galaxies, right?
Which that's insane. The whole leaving the galaxy far, far away to another galaxy
that's farther and farther away.
Yes,
we've just expanded our far, far aways.
That's nuts.
He drops the.
Oh my God! What if the Heir to the Empire movie starts like that?
That there are more than one hyperspace lanes that the Jedi knew about. That this is part of their migratory, so that it's not just one hyperspace lane that the Purrgil have used. That there's multiple. So that really kind of opens up the whole world of Star Wars. And the fanboys that are upset about, like, well, where's wild space? I don't know. It's somewhere between this galaxy and the next galaxy. Okay.
Says the guy, where's Kanan?
Okay. I just want them to name drop him. I just want them to name drop his name. That's it. That's all. I just want that little kernel, that little bread.
That wants to be the meme.
I know that guy.
But I do love that too, because there's this element of just like, all right, come on, they can get anywhere. How can they not find Ezra? It's like, oh, well, the Purrgil took him to another galaxy. You can't just go to another galaxy. So that makes sense, you know?
Yeah.
It makes sense. The Purrgil are going to take Ahsoka and Sabine to another galaxy.
Well, even during the High Republic books, which I'm not caught up on, but I've read several of them, but they deal with these ideas of hyperspace lanes that have existed and people controlling them. This also, as fans have clamored for, this also opens up the idea of an outside element coming in, the Yuzon Vong, I believe, the alien from one of the expanded universe stories. Whether or not we get them, I just wanted to say, Hu Yang, I love that droid. I love the fact that they decided to go with the C-3PO mouth that doesn't move, but they give all of the expression in the eyes, and David Tennant's voice really brings it to life.
And he's great.
Kudos.
Like he's a great voice. He's a great actor, but he's a great voice actor.
Yes.
His Scrooge McDuck is a great performance. If you haven't watched we're you and I are big fans of that, Ralph.
Huge,
I don't, you hate
huge
it for
fans.
some reason, but
the new DuckTales is
but yeah, Hu Yang is amazing. My favorite, because you're talking about the band, or at least the explanations and everything while they're trying to figure out this hyperspace ring. I love there's like, can you get this much closer? And that's such a funny line. It was so good. So good. I like watching it again, I was just like, I love that so much. I love it so much. But yeah, I'm love, and I love the lightsabers, but like the training lightsabers. That was really cool.
That was, and it showed like where the slashes were. And
they're like Nerf bats.
Yeah, exactly.
But like projections of them, that was really cool.
I love it. Okay, let's talk about Marok. Is that what we're saying his name?
Marok.
A lot of theories on, and I've heard everybody. I've heard it's Luke, it's Ezra, it's Starkiller, it's Qui-Gon Jinn. It's like I've heard everybody is this person. What's your thoughts? Is it actually somebody we care about or no, or is this a red herring? It's just a nobody.
I feel like it has to be somebody, because we didn't see this character in any of the print stuff. We haven't really seen. There's some quick glimpses in the trailers, but it's like when it comes to Sith and when it comes to sort of Jedi, it's usually a master and an apprentice. The first episode is called Master and Apprentice.
Yeah.
Right.
And here you have this Master and Apprentice. Oh, and then a third guy. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like, what is that? And the face is covered and the voice is altered.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I feel like they're setting it up to be someone.
Yes.
I've been saying Ezra, but I think like Ahsoka might have sensed Ezra.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then like, how did Ezra get back from the other galaxy? Of course, he talks to Purrgil and could probably use them to get back.
Sure.
Also, maybe he sort of inserted himself into this group of bad guys to sort of make sure they don't finish their plan. Maybe he's there to secretly
I like it's Tron. Yeah,
that was another thing I said. I said,
the users.
Is it Rinsler?
Yeah, it is. It's the Rinsler deco. It's like the black with the orange kind of outlining.
Yeah, it's
with
very
the spin, with the identity disc with the Are they going to try to do a Merrick lightsaber and just like put the Riva lightsaber in a new box?
It's the same lightsaber, right? It's the Inquisitor lightsaber.
Probably.
Yeah. For sure. I think
I would love to see them try it again.
Okay. I thought in the trailers we actually see, sorry, spoiler for trailers, but I swore there's an Ahsoka battling what we'll call Rinsler.
Rinsler?
Yeah, we saw it already. It happened in episode 2.
Yeah, on the docks, the Carillion.
No. I think there's a different setting.
There's probably an initial one, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm hearing a lot of it's Galen Merrick, Star Killer.
Star Killer.
I'm seeing Mara Jade. That'd be awesome. Barriss Offee, I've heard as well. Okay, but fan casting, you get your king for a day at Lucasfilm. Okay. Who do you fan cast as Rinsler?
Alden.
Oh, like which character would I?
Who would you put under the mask?
Ooh, that's
Bosk.
A good one.
Who? Bosk.
It's got kind of a swoop nose.
Huh. That's a good one.
Or it's Riva. Damn, what if it's just Riva?
Oh, snap.
Damn.
That would be a really interesting connection to Kenobi too.
Yeah.
Like
I didn't even think of it for a second.
Because she left the Inquisitor Order by the end of Kenobi.
Yeah, she was like, I'm out. Deuces.
Yeah, I'm out. But that's what I like about Baylan and Shin is that they also kind of left the Jedi Order.
Yes.
During the Clone Wars, after the Clone Wars. And what I love about it is Baylan, who appears to be a bad guy because his lightsaber is not blue or green. It's kind of an orangish red.
Yes, exactly. It's got that orangey red.
He's still teaching the ways of the Jedi.
Yes.
And still taking the good things from the Jedi text and using that to continue to teach good, which I really find interesting as a counter to Ahsoka leaving the Jedi Order and kind of distancing herself from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think both of these two relationships between Baylan and Shin and Ahsoka and Sabine are really interesting. They're kind of parallel, and they both want to do like the best ideals of the Jedi Knight, but are like the stuff they failed.
Yeah,
she even says it in this episode that the Jedi failed.
I do love that. That's a great call out that both Ahsoka and this Dark Jedi crew, they're both kind of Jedi adjacent. They're not, they're not Jedi and they're not Sith. They're just, we like the Force. We like lightsabers. Just, let us be, man.
Yeah.
But I love this slot, right? It's an old, from the books, the Legends series, right? Yes. It's Luke's clone of his hand. What if it's a Luke clone?
That would be an interesting
Luke.
That would be an interesting. I think that's what I would.
And that's where you have to bring in Prime Luke, and both Lukes duke it out, and you have the old it's him. No, he's the real Luke. He's the evil Luke.
Well, I
think
if
they have a clone of Luke,
I think
that would be
Luke
nuts.
He has a hard time fighting himself. Like there was something about like the two of them that was like. I can't remember. It happens in the third book in the Heir to the Empire trilogy is when Luke is introduced. So he's kind of more of a character that kind of appears later in that trilogy, brought about by Sabaoth, which I don't know. I mean,
could it be Vader?
Yeah, no, the Luke clone totally brings back the Heir to the Empire. I think just something that Ralph had mentioned earlier about how this show has started off with the dynamic of these main two characters, two strong female leads, and seeing their friendship grow, keeping and nurturing that so that we don't have too many strings at once. It's like that is one of the strengths about the first season of Mandalorian is it doesn't try to do too much at once.
Yeah.
As fans, we want it to pull in all of these strings. I myself, of course, with Kanan and the fact that I just want his freaking name mentioned. That's all I wanted. Just his name.
Say his name.
We'll get there.
But when we get into stuff like the Yuzan Vong and Star Killer and who that is, I think those are bigger things that it's almost like you have to like have their own introduction.
Yeah, it's like like if you had to do a bit of setting up to get you into the Rebels thing,
right?
Like you just have to do that again for the Star Killer thing. So it would make more sense to do a clone of Luke's hand because everyone knows his hand got chopped off, and that would be able to reveal that even the normie Star Wars are like, oh, that's Luke. It's an evil Luke. I get that.
Right.
And it might ultimately explain where Maz got the lightsaber from. That's story for another time.
You're right. You're right.
That's a good.
Yeah.
Whatever. I just don't want them to try to shoehorn too many things in.
Sure.
I love the fact that we got vibes of Andor when we did see Mon Mothma.
Yes.
Like especially seeing that show so recently and her in that role, and even how post Return of the Jedi this is. Like she's on one looking.
This is the first one.
This
is the first time an actor has jumped over another actor in that role in the timeline, because we had a different actor in Return of the Jedi.
Right. That's
like
true.
We've had Alden Ehrenreich pre Harrison Ford, and we've had Ewan McGregor pre Alec Guinness.
Yeah.
But now we're getting Genevieve O'Reilly pre and post whoever played Mon Mothma.
I think she's earned that because she has
she's so good.
even in this scene, even though she's a hologram, she's acting the hell out of that hologram, because like all of her looks, every little morsel of scene that she had was enrapturing. And Mon Mothma is such a compelling character because she went through so much to overturn the Empire, and the bureaucracy is back in full force, and the same BS that led to the whole damn thing, and she sees it, but she's still trying to work as a bureaucrat to just make it all, and you can clearly see it's already going to crap, and Hera knows it, Mon Mothma knows it, and I feel for it's a tragic character, Mon Mothma, in the end, right? Because clearly it didn't work.
And how funny is it though that the one senator who's basically like, that's it, just let Ezra die, he's probably already dead. That senator is the father of the main character for Star Wars Resistance, which I think.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's Senator Ziano, the Xiono. He is the father of Kazuda. So there's a connection there to the fact that the main character that we see in Star Wars Resistance, if you haven't seen that, Kazuda is a funny character, but it's like, well, you're wanting to kill off Ezra, and you're wanting, I don't know. It's an interesting, like, just dynamic, I think. Like, just
to me, like I thought she made a good point. It's like, oh, so you just waited it out to see who won.
Oh no, that was a total. Yeah, that was a good line.
And so let's talk about Hera. Let's talk about the Hera development.
That moment with Hera and this episode, stronger than the first two.
Yes, I felt like I was like, okay, she is settled in. I have adjusted to a human being playing this character.
Yes,
because it is weird just seeing a human play like a very animated character, and the contacts are very contacty. But this is the one where I was like, okay, I got locked into Hera from this scene and the scene with Jason. I'm okay with Hera now. Like I don't have a problem with her. But Ralph, it seems like you're the same. But Matt, you did not dig Hera. Like, are you feeling better now?
I feel better about it with this episode. The hard part for me, the hard sell for me, as it was just, I loved Hera and Kanan. I loved their relationship, and that grew on me. And it's like it is a hard adjustment. It's just as it's hard to kind of adjust into cartoons sometimes and being like, oh, sure, this represents this, it's hard to go the other way, or even a book character, You know, I liken it to that. You read a book, you know, Heir to the Empire as a movie is not going to look like anything like the book.
Sure.
You know, it's just, there's just no way, you know, so it has to be some, you know, weird amalgamation, square root of this times that equals this, you know, they're going to have to put it through some kind of scientific calculator. But so the first scene that I see with Hera and Ahsoka, to me, it was harder. She took me out of the Star Wars world. It was kind of like a whoop. And so to me as a fan, it was kind of like, well, this is just tepid water. This isn't like doing anything for me emotionally. Seeing her with Jason, seeing her stand up, you know, to the Senate and call out, you know, the senator. I liked all of that stuff, you know. And I think that this show, much like Filoni's other shows, Clone Wars included, they can start off a little slow or off, or it takes a while to get that formula and that synergy. You know, episodes that fans love of Rebels, for those that haven't seen Rebels, the episodes that fans love the most are the ones that have been building for seasons, and they come to this boiling point where you're like, this is cake and I love it, you know. So, and I think really, I mean, The Mandalorian, the episodes of The Mandalorian that we felt were the most Filoni or brought in multiple stories had that synergy. So I'm glad that this is somewhere between Andor and The Mandalorian for Ralph. You know,
Andalorian. So for me with Hera, I mean, I can do some speculating, and it'll probably get your hopes up, and it might not happen. But I feel like clearly what's going to happen is that Hera's going to go against what the Senate has said. We're going to finally see the Ghost. She's going to take the Ghost to go after Sabine and Ahsoka. Whether she gets Zeb on board or not, we'll see. Chances are probably, maybe. But I mean, she's clearly going to take Jason with her. And Jason's going to need to know some information. And I could see a scene, Filoni would do this, a scene in Kanan's room on the Ghost where she sits down, tells the story of Kanan, and if we're lucky, gets some flashbacks, some live action recreations of the series. I feel like,
I mean, I thought that was a standout.
7 days. They got 7 days, Brad. 7 days.
They do.
I thought
I feel like that could be the next episode.
Could be, yeah.
It was such a powerful thing that they did recreate some of those last scenes of Rebels, you know, for the season opener, you know, where Ahsoka is going back to Sabine, and we're seeing that play out. I was really impressed that they went there, you know, and said, okay, we're going to present this now in this context, in this way, and some of those beats shot for shot. So I'm loving this show. It's the only thing that's annoying about it is that it comes out on Tuesdays at 9 p.m.
I love that. Can I just say,
I would like it if I could watch it with my kids, but
just watch it on Wednesday with them.
I do, but then I gotta wait a whole day, and then I got these other jokers just blowing up my texting phone, and I'm just like, delete.
I personally have loved the 9 o'clock on Tuesday just because I know, especially for you, Ralph.
Well, Ralph gets it. I wish it was 8. Personally, I wish it was 8.
We get it at 6. Perfect. So I make dinner. We eat our dinner. We go and digest it and pop on Disney Plus. It's amazing because for those of you that don't know, I do a show called Live Action Star Wars.
Wait. What?
That's
have you not said anything about this?
Every single Wednesday at 7:30 in the morning Pacific time. Because my co-host James is in the UK and he works graveyard. So for the last 2 years, anytime there's a new Star Wars series, I wake up my wife at 5:30 in the morning to watch a Star Wars, to get the artwork up, to do the show at 7:30 in the morning. now I get to watch it after dinner the night before. Are you kidding me?
This is like a vacation for you. No wonder
it's insane. It's making me so happy. I could sit there like not groggy. Like, you see, have you ever watched something at 5:30 in the morning that's brand new? It's not easy. It's not that fun because you sit there and you're like, and you're just like, okay, it's almost like required viewing. It's like homework. And so now I'm like, oh my God, I get this. We're actually sitting back and enjoying it. And I don't know if that has to do with some of the reasons, but I mean, when it was Andor, like there's some depressing stuff in that show.
It's like the whole morning wake up to
Kino Loy. I'm watching Kino Loy saying I can't swim at 6 a.m. trying to eat cereal, and I'm like, oh my God,
these lucky times
for a day
aren't so lucky anymore. They're just soggy depression marshmallows.
So for it showing up at 6, it's great. It's been so great. And even if it was at 9, I'd rather go to bed thinking about Star Wars. Go to bed at like 10 because I normally go.
I just wish I could watch it collectively with the.
Well, then have your kids stay up for one night. Jesus, they're like teenagers now.
I know, but it's like
starts at 9 over there.
Yeah, or 8. Yeah. You're at 8, aren't you? Central.
The problem being is that the first episode. No, I'm on Eastern time.
Oh, you are.
The problem is you're a bad dad.
How is Indiana in Eastern still?
Well, we used to not change. We should just stay, and then we aligned with. But part of the northern part near Chicago is central with Chicago. Okay. Part of the bottom part of Indiana is central, but
sure.
the bulk of Indiana is eastern. But anyway, that said, though, that first episode, if I would have let them stay up, like, oh, we'll just watch the first one. It ends with that dramatic lightsaber stab, and it's like,
but now you're 30 minutes. It's 30 minutes.
It is.
I'm going to bed at 9:30. Come on.
We did stay up and watch the supermoon tonight. We went out and
a moon. Come on.
Here's the thing.
Priorities.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
If my parents told me I could stay up later than normal to watch Star Wars, I'd probably still love both my parents.
Yeah, well, oh wow!
But now I don't, and that's all on you, Matt. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing to your family. They're gonna hate you for life. Actually, my parents let me watch Star Wars all the time.
Do you know what my kids are gonna enjoy though? They're gonna enjoy this HasLab Ghost, which everybody after this needs to just jump on board, bite the bullet.
Are you gonna be? Let's
see. Have you affected the numbers? Let's go check real quick. Hold on.
I like how you have this ready to go.
Let's see.
Brian Brinkup thinks every half hour.
I think it's every half hour. He hasn't updated it yet. But we'll go to the website. Hold on.
Yeah.
I like those card backs.
Same. All right. We're at 12,101.
12,000.
That was when we started. Let's see how much you changed.
I thought it was at 11,000.
Hey, you got 4 backers in that time, Matt. Congratulations.
Yep. Thank you. Causality equals no, never mind. Correlation equals causality. There you go.
So I feel like even if it doesn't get up to the higher numbers, eventually they've got to release those other characters, right?
You'd hope.
At retail.
But they haven't. It's been. When did Rebels go off the air? They haven't done TVC Rebels characters. Period.
Oh man.
The end.
It's and you know what's a shame, but it's also beautiful about having Ahsoka is the music. Kevin
Let's talk about the music because I've heard critiques about the music. I'm like, the music's fine. I don't mind the music.
Who are you talking to? Who's critiquing all this stuff?
I'm in a lot of different chats, and I'm hearing some from people.
I am so glad that Kevin Kiner is doing the music. It's a disservice that season 4 was never released as a soundtrack. I think I even tracked him on Twitter.
It's the best score
when it was Twitter, and I was just like,
it is. Hey, season 4 is the best for sure.
Season 4 is so good, and it's not available.
That's insane.
It's not like
the whole.
I've searched again. I've searched
the whole
the
Kanan arc, like all the music from the Kanan arc.
The wolves.
The wolves, the music.
Yeah,
it's a crime that they don't have season 4, but you can get season 1 practically on vinyl. You know, it's just like, come on, Disney.
Mondo, hold on. I have friends at Mondo now. Let me text them real quick. Be like, hey.
Peter doesn't care about vinyl records.
Yeah, but he can knock on the thing. Okay.
Hey, tell Peter to tell. I want to talk to Peter.
So we're getting some of those themes and some of those songs, and some of that music. He also worked on Rebels, of course, as well. So, or not Rebels. I'm sorry, Clone Wars. I'm double dipping there.
You're right over there.
So
he's got ghosts on the mind.
I do have ghosts on. And Bad Batch. So,
and
we'll
get a
out. I didn't know that. Do you have IMDb pulled up for him or something?
No.
Right now? Okay.
No, I know film scores.
Okay.
So David Arnold is a composer who does the Bond movies. He's done some other stuff. Currently working on another David Tennant project, Bad Omens. Which one? One of those. But yeah, Kevin Kiner did the score with David Arnold for Wing Commander, which we all saw in 1999, so that we can see the episode 1 trailer.
God.
You guys didn't go see
ours was Legend of Bagger Vance, I thought was the
Meet Joe Black.
Meet Joe Black, that's what it was.
Meet Joe Black was one of them. Waterboy was one of them, and Wing Commander was one of them. Yeah. I saw Wing Commander starring Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah, full circle. like a hyperspace ring. What did you guys think of the hyperspace
poetry
ring?
It's cool.
I think it's cool, yeah.
It's cool. It's like a hyperspace ring, but bigger.
Yes.
To me, it was just like such a Star Wars moment there where it was like, oh, this is cool. This is like a Death Star, except it's not blasting something, it's transporting something. So it's just like
trying to go somewhere, man. Just
take this thing and expand it so it's like just gigantic. So
yeah. So Balin and what's her name? The Night Sister. They're gonna take that.
Morgan.
And Morgan Elsbeth. Morgan Elsbeth. And then the Purgle are going to take the Ghost crew.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Like how do they get there? What's going to happen? I think we're going to see a battle where they're trying to but ultimately the Purgle have to take the Ghost.
So there's a few things here. As far as the trailers we've seen so far, the only thing that we haven't seen from the trailers in the episode are the Ahsoka Balin fight, a Shin Sabine fight, and then the couple shots of Thrawn.
Mm-hmm.
So if that stuff happens next week, which it might, because Ahsoka and Sabine are on that planet where they're going to look for them in the woods. If we get this fight next week, then that's it. The only footage we haven't seen is Thrawn from the trailer.
Which could also, what that's a flashback too. It's like that.
So
suckers.
Yeah. But it could be the Kanan flashback. So what I'm thinking is maybe, again, setting us up for disappointment. Lightsaber battle, the map, the thing. The bad guys make their escape. The Ghost shows up. They hop on board. Rescue Sabine and Ahsoka, follow them via the Purgle.
Yep.
Okay. I can't believe
Sabine's seen the map. She knows where to go.
Well, but the Purgle know where to go. That's why there is the map. I like that at least because I was like, this is a weird MacGuffin. Like, why the hell is there a map?
Right.
It's like, oh, okay, it's a thing. Okay.
And that's what I enjoyed too, because I think during the first 2 episodes, I was like, are we going down some Rise of Skywalker? Like, thing? Like, how did they leave a map for Thrawn? Like that part doesn't make
any sense.
But then when you saw the Purgle in the temple, I was like, oh, okay, this is clearly connected.
It's like, oh, okay, it's that. This explains. It answers the whole thing in a really it's okay. That makes sense. I'm good. It's like
Mutagen Ooze mentions after next week, it's all unknown for sure. It's like all unknown stuff,
which is great. I'm excited for that.
So next week is episode 4.
Yeah, so we're halfway through.
The following week is episode 5, which is a Dave Filoni episode.
Ooh.
So who knows what kind of nut stuff is going to happen in episode 5 that they're not showing us in the trailers.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, and he tends to like to sneak those in, just kind of in the middle of a season, not like a showstopper kind of.
So that's where we get our Kanan flashback, and we get because if anybody's going to touch Kanan,
I like that you guys think that we're going to get Kanan. I'm a cynic. I'm a Kanan cynic at this point. I want to see him, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
Say his name,
dude. Freddie Prinze Jr. loves this character, and he's not going to just skip out and be like, no. You made a full-size Ghost. You have a live-action Hera and Ahsoka and all these people.
You have a ship called Ghost, and you can't have a Force Ghost of Kanan. Come on.
Okay, one other thing that we haven't talked about: Ahsoka battling in space.
Ahsoka in space.
100% Clone Wars. It felt so Clone Wars.
Yes,
it's so Clone Wars, and I loved it.
I love the spacesuit. I love the fact that she was.
I love her just floating across the cockpit. He's like, "Hey, did you get this ship going?" Yeah.
Need you to come pick me up.
See, that's Snips right there.
You're right. That's
why I feel like this is the episode. The third episode's the one where I just really felt like this feels like animated Star Wars. As soon as she stepped out of the ship onto the wing, I'm
agreed.
Like, they don't do this in live action Star Wars, but they do it all the time in the animated ones.
Yep.
And so they're like, okay, we got the Purgle, we got, the kind of weird stuff. Let's start to lean into this weird stuff that you see in the animated series. And I'm thinking once we get into wild space, I guess you would call it, it's going to get bonkers. And I'm kind of all for Star Wars just going crazy because we had, 46 years of desert planets with moisture evaporators and everything feels super familiar. It feels very safe.
Yeah.
And I feel it's time to go crazy. Let's get real crazy and psychedelic. I hope this wild space, even with this planet where it's just a bunch of red trees, great. I haven't seen that before in Star Wars.
Hold on. I got you, Ralph. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
We don't know this, but Batman says that 5 times a week. We just happened to see it the one time in that one movie and another time.
He's really Jack about his lines, and he just kind of
she's like, this is my line. I just say it all the time. I don't know why. Okay. One last thing before we start to wrap this up here. Purgle, got to see him in live action for the first time. Thoughts? Great. Notes? Any notes? Any
Loved
thoughts?
all of the flying through the tendrils. It was awesome. Loved it.
No notes.
So, Chopper, 10 out of 10. Purgle, 10 out of 10. Clancy Brown as Ryder Azadi.
I love Clancy Brown.
10 out of 10.
Yes.
Okay. I was so happy.
When I saw, I was like, yes.
and also another move over from the voice actor to the
I know, exactly. Actor. I was like, it's perfect. Because I love that character in Rebels. And I was just like, yes, he's doing the I was so happy.
So good.
Yeah.
Space punk music. Thoughts? Any notes?
Great. Perfect. I loved it.
More.
It was like that Narkina 5 and Andor. I like the source music, what they listen to in Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's not all Cantina Band, and I like it. I really like it.
More of that stuff.
I agree. I do love how you can understand Chopper when he talks. It's so good.
He swears.
He was definitely swearing. There were some swears.
Yeah.
I love it.
No, Chopper's. I just don't understand how we can't get the Ghost next week. It's happening.
For Hasbro's sake, let's hope the Ghost shows up next week.
The Ghost is showing up to that planet. Right? Well, the whole setup was there. They're not going to let her do her thing. She's a loose cannon. She's a cop with a badge. She's going out to save her friends. This is a detective story. Again, I had certain aversions to things because, again, it's like reading a book, or you're so used to a certain thing, to switch over can be hard. So, but I'm loving this show. I just want more. I was sad that after this episode was over, my son was like, that was it? And I'm like, sorry, buddy. We can only hope for an hour
in next
long.
time.
Yeah. Welcome to the world of appointment television.
Yeah. Matt.
Just let him know. Just let him know. You know what? You can watch it a day early. You can watch it on Tuesday.
I'm gonna try it on Tuesday.
I think you should.
If Wednesday was a late start day for my kids, it'd be perfect. But actually, tomorrow is their late start day, which is why we went out to look at the Super.
You mean they're not up to watch live action Star Wars at 7:30 in the morning?
They're usually in school by that point. Their school starts early. Anyway,
other real quick note. I love as well the droids in the E-wings are, based off of this guy.
Yes, right. Yeah. That style.
Yeah, I think that's so cool. I want more of them.
The E-wings were cool when they showed up.
Yeah. The ships are cool. Everything's cool. I like it.
Yeah,
I like it story driven. I like it's character driven. Mm-hmm. It's not just cool stuff to be cool.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't need to see Mandalorians climbing a rock to get to a pterodactyl that ate some kids.
Do you think
I don't need that? What do I need that for?
Screw them kids.
Do you think? Okay, so it was name dropped here that there's not a lot of Mandalorians that have become Jedi, right?
Yep.
Is that maybe because of their warlike nature, and that they have to have this balance, right? Maybe. Who's to say that? I liked that we got basically like, hey, the Force is in you. Like, she has the Force. Like, from Ahsoka to Sabine in this episode.
Hold on, I am sorry.
That's what she said.
I can't not.
I was just gonna say, I know a Mandalorian who had a Jedi in them.
It penetrates us. It surrounds us. It binds Satine. Everything together in a tight rope.
Satine had a little Jedi in her, right?
All right, look, I wasn't trying to go blue, but I like that it opened it up to the fact that some of
Why do you keep digging in? But okay, sure, go ahead.
Do you
know what the scene that I'm talking about though? Between never mind.
No, please. I'm sorry, Matt. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I
thought I was on the RCAD here for a second.
No, you're good.
No, I mean, the scene that I'm talking about between Sabine and Ahsoka. And Ahsoka's basically like, hey, living thing, the Force is in all living things, including you. So with some things, it's talent, or she kind of likens it to like being kind of born with something.
I love it too. Yeah.
But it opens it up to like that kid-like nature of the Force that we grew up with. Like any farm boy could pick up a rock and float it in the air, right?
It's one of the things I loved about The Last Jedi, where it democratized the Force, and it stopped making it about like you had to be some descendant of some freaking Force.
You had to be Palpatine's granddaughter or something.
Yeah. And I was just like, that's like the thing I love the most about The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And so I love that it's the case here. And I just love how she is not some crazy Force sense where she's just trying to make it work. And I think that
we're going to see that cup. We're going to see that cup move.
Yeah, of course.
Like I love.
They wipe that table down after it becomes a floor. Like
that's a good. I didn't even think about that.
They've got our Roomba vac that comes in. So.
But anyway, okay, gentlemen, I think it's a good place to stop it here. We're not necessarily committing to every single week, but if the stars align and we can do this thing, we'll do it.
Sure.
But definitely hit the subscribe and bell so you don't miss it. We're very close to 1,000 subscribers here on GDL2. I think we're less than 40 away to 1,000 subscribers. So
let's make that happen. And the HasLab.
I was first like, let's make that happen after we get to 17,000 on the HasLab. But Ralph, you are working your ass off to on your own goals on a little documentary by the name of Getting Lost, and there is an Indiegogo for it right now. You already blew through your first goal, and now you're well on your way to your next big goal of $108,000 for this Lost documentary, Lost, the TV show from ABC. So anything here that you want to promote about Getting Lost?
If you're into Lost, check it out. It's go to gettinglostdoc.com. It'll take you to the Indiegogo page. We've only been up for 2 weeks and we're at 479 backers, over 72,000 in 2 weeks, which is pretty nuts. We want to try to hit to 108. We have 23 days left. So if for some reason, is the Ghost backed already, or is it not backed?
It is backed, but now they've had their stretch goals.
So I was going to say, if you guys get your, if it didn't back, and you guys get you don't spend that money on a Ghost, you can maybe toss us like $2 or $3. But yeah,
by the way,
it's been
also
incredible.
This too.
I backed it as well. I think I did the VHS tape level. I think is what I did.
Oh, that's both Taylor and I are very happy with people who buy the VHS package because we just dropped some prints. We've been dropping signed and numbered artist prints from Gallery 1988. Very rare. We've been dropping one a day all week. About that. Tomorrow is the Not Penny's Boat one. It's going to be cool. But yeah, dude, we're making a movie and we're crowdfunding it. And look at, I feel like it's pretty much a success. But the more we get, the more we can put into the movie. I don't see a dime of any of this stuff. Taylor's, the director, he's got to recoup some costs and
you guys are both doing a lot of heavy lifting, getting a lot of interviews. You have
two of us. So here's the thing. Listen, anybody watching this who has a podcast, I've been podcasting pretty much every single day for like the last 3 weeks. I'll be on your show to talk about it. Anything you want to talk about. It doesn't have to just be about Lost. It could be about the music of Lost by Michael Giacchino, who also incidentally is doing the music for Getting Lost. He gave us an hour and 5 minutes of unreleased, fully orchestrated music that he did in 2009. And I could talk about that. There might be Lost toys we could talk about.
Podcast with Ralph. By the end of it, you will be donating your money just to be like, okay, Ralph, here.
And even if you don't want to donate, just if you want to share it, that helps us a lot because chances are you have a Lost friend out there that didn't know that this project existed and they're going to want to back it because we have cool perks. So check it out.
Definitely check it. It's gettinglostdoc.com.
Yeah, and at Getting Lost Doc everywhere else.
Boom. There you go. Matt, my friend, are you doing anything with Everyday Inventors, or are you still kind of?
I'm still doing Everyday Inventors. I release stuff all of the time on TikTok as well as Instagram. Follow me there. You can see some of my artwork. And then I've also been working on a website to sell my artwork directly.
There you go.
That's all connected through Everyday Inventors. It's something that I do with my daughter. It's kind of a fun art activity website that we do, and that's at orca-arts.com. But check out my artwork that I make. I also record Owen and Baru's barbecue. We're covering Star Wars podcast. We're covering Ahsoka as well. I think our plan is to do an episode every 2 episodes, so we'll probably end up with 4 podcast episodes throughout this season. And check us out there. So
all right, there you go.
Every week over live action Star Wars.
And that's right, Ralph. You have a Star Wars show.
Oh, jeez. Do you have to shill that too?
That's so much shit to shill. So much.
All right. On that note, we'll see you all next time. Hasta luego and goodbye. Take care, everybody.
Bye.